Hi, my name is Mizu and welcome to Mizu's K-Drama Corner. I'm reviewing episode 1 all the way to episode 4 of The Devil's Plan. It's a 12-episode series now on Netflix, reality show where these people are living together in one home for 7 days and they're going to be playing games. So the structure is such that they play 2 games per day. One main game towards the afternoon or in the evening, and then they play a prize-winning game towards the end. The cast was picked in such a manner that they had a written examination before they joined the show, and they also of course had a few interviews as well. I'm not gonna talk about everybody just because everyone, one after the other, I swear to you, they were all brilliant people. There was Lee Si-won that really caught my eye because as soon as she comes in, she decided to play with her connections, play with her network, get to know people, make friends immediately, make alliances. You know, she wasn't that type to just sit and observe first. She was the type to take action. We then had Hae-sung, and she really struck out to me as well. She's a TV personality, she's very fluent in English and a few other languages as well. And when she came in, I had the feeling that this lady is very strategic. She knows what she's here for, and she's not gonna let anybody get in the way of that. If somebody does, she's okay with pushing them away. Suh Dong Joo also left a very big impression on me as well. Just her face, as soon as she enters, her face kind of screams that this lady is smart, she's intelligent, and she's beautiful. She's a lawyer in the US, and she really, just her face itself made a huge impression, a huge impact on me. We then had a YouTuber, Jun Bin, enter, and this guy seemed like very fun, and I thought he would be very good at the game as well. But as the show progresses, as the game progresses, I find out that he's all just talk and he's not that good at the game. It was quite funny to see that. The last person that they show is Dongsaeng. My initial reaction to him wasn't that big of a deal, but then when they kind of introduce him and they say that he was one of the 2 people who scored the highest on the written part of the show's application, that's when I was like, he's somebody that I need to be looking out for. These are the people who really made a very big lasting impression on me, the people who I wanted to focus on during that game. And I also want to really talk about the set because the entire time I went, this is beautiful, this is crazy. There's so much hard work put in this, you know. They had butlers, they had people taking care of their luggage, and there's a coffee station, there's a donut station, even the passage to the jail, the cave, how they've made it into a cave, it was beautiful. I'm gonna move on now to the games. So the format of the show is similar to, like, not just the format, but the games are very similar to, let's say, Squid Game, Alice in Borderland, just that nobody actually dies, right? They're out of the game, but then they're not actually dead. Okay, I want to mention here that all of the games were very fun, very well thought of. They are a little bit complicated and difficult to understand at first, but then when you see the people playing the games, it gets easier to understand. So episode 1 ends at a cliffhanger, which I love, you know, because it really, like, you know, you grip your seat and you really want to know what's happening next. So the first one was a virus game. I think a few people kind of revealed themselves too quickly. The journalist went around telling everybody that Siwon is a terrorist. People make alliances, people talk. There's not just one terrorist, there's 2, so you never know what's gonna happen. So that was like a big mistake on her part. And then the researchers, I'm not sure if it was bad luck, bad timing, or if they were too gullible and they trusted Siwon too quick, but they went to her, they held her hand, and started their cure on her. I felt so bad for Seok Jin. He's very sentimental when he heard Guillaume saying that I'm the officer, so he reacts too quickly. He doesn't think it through. I feel like he's a very gullible person, soft-hearted, clean heart, easy target, but he needs to, and this is all good, these are good things, but he needs to log that up for this game. I do hope that this was a lesson for him and that he learns to trust his gut next time. The game ends, the terrorists win. The whole time I keep thinking that Guillaume and Dongjae are the top players. They did so well. So the second game was that of puzzles. So Orbit is somebody who gives a lot of strategies. He's a science YouTuber guy. I don't agree with all of his strategies, but the one for the second game I definitely agreed with. So you can all gang up, focus on gaining as many pieces together as possible, and then distribute them later on. He did mention that we could perhaps give it to the people who have been prisoned or distribute it randomly, both of which I definitely disagreed with. I think you should definitely give it to somebody who contributed the most in the puzzle game, which was Guillaume and Dong Joo. Let's say the guys who end up getting the pieces don't trade it later on. I mean, that shows you a lot, right? I don't think, first of all, that's gonna happen, because come on, you're not gonna play each other like that. But even if they do, you know who to not trust later on, you know who to put in jail when you're playing those teamwork kind of games. This is exactly what happened in the end, you see. So they lost the game overall, but thankfully they did accumulate a few pieces before the game ended. I know Dong Joo really took it personally, but I didn't mind because I enjoyed the game. I think they were all trying to figure out and kind of build their teamwork and try to understand who to trust and who not to trust. So and they ended up gaining a few pieces as well. So it was all win-win in my opinion. I was actually expecting Dong Jae to give 2 pieces away, one to Guillaume and one to Dong Joo, but he didn't, so And then they of course get ready for the next day. They're all washed up, they're sitting together now having some beer and just talking about their day. And I like this format so much because the more you talk and the more you play these games together, even if it's you against them or it's you in a team, it all really binds you together because now you do have something to talk about, you have a goal in mind. I don't have much to say about the third game, which was the die game. It was like a board game. It was like an actual board game. But towards the end, it became really unpredictable. So first, Seok Jin discards his ticket. He gets to roll the special dice. He gets a 3. He discards another escape ticket, rolls a special die, gets another 3. He discards another ticket, rolls a special die, gets a 1, and that's how he wins the race. And then the same luck goes to Seungkwan as well. He escapes the jail, uses an escape ticket to roll the die, lands at the office, gets an escape ticket, uses the escape ticket to roll the special die, gets a 3, rolls the ordinary die to get a 1, and then lands at the office again. So that was a very wholesome moment. Everybody's hugging each other, and it was so nice to see. I mean, they had formed these 2 groups, one for Dong Jae's groups, the people who had the highest number of pieces, and those who had just 1 piece, and that was the majority. But that's how they kind of divided themselves up into 2 groups. But I did like how they stuck to those groups, you know, especially the 4 people. Seok Jin stayed in that group, Guillaume stayed in that group, Siwon stayed in that group, Dong Jae stayed in that group. Even though there were times where it became really difficult and it became really unpredictable, and it became quite sure that they would not win this game, but still they stuck together, which I like. So the episode ended with Dong Jo using her escape tickets to move Dong Jae 6 steps backward on the board. And the look he gives her at that moment, oh my god, that stare is like an ice cold stare. And then we find out that Guillaume lost the game. And I was rooting for him. Honestly, he was a very strong player. He played very well in the first game, and he also played really well in the second game. So I would have never imagined that he would be the first player to leave the game. He had the potential to be the winner. He's that good. The atmosphere after that was really down. Dong Jae was upset, he was crying, and they're all of course already exhausted from all that mental stress. But then they had another game to play that night. I'm loving the bond between Dong Jae and Siwon, by the way, this Dongsaeng Noona bond. Even when she's like memorizing everything on the hospital shelf, he says, "Oh Noona, good job," you know, so it's very cute. There's so many more moments like this as well. It's adorable. Later on, when they come back to the house as well, he asks her if she wants a drink, and you know, she smiles at him, and it's very heartwarming to see these type of moments between the contestants, because they've been, you know, put into this kind of a format where they're put up against each other. So anything that's sweet or kind or wholesome, it's always nice to see. In this game, Fragments of Memory, they all need to be working together. So they get 20 minutes to memorize everything on that picture. So Siwon goes first, but she passes on the first question because it's an easy one and she didn't get the rules of the game. So it's passed on to Dong Joo, and she gets question 1 right, she gets question 2 right, she gets 3, 4, 5, 6, all of them right, all towards question 10. Everybody's hooting for her, everybody's cheering. They're like, bro, she killed it, you know? And it goes to show, because of course she's a lawyer. It was nerve-wracking as hell, but it was very fun to see. Later on, they celebrate the victory, and Seok Jin decides to give one piece to his team members, Dong Jae and Siwon, from that die game. And then the episode ends with Haesung being very vulnerable. She says that she doesn't know how to go about these games and that she wishes somebody would just tell her what to focus on. And I totally understand her. They've just been put into this game. They've never played it before. They don't know how to go about it. It's very difficult. It's exhausting. And it's supposed to be. That's what you signed up for. So very excited for the next batch of episodes. The first batch came on the 26th of this month. The next one will be airing on October 3rd, and then the one after that will be a week later, which is October 10th. My top players at the moment are people that I'm just very intrigued and I want to see more of them. Dong Jae, Dong Joo, and Seok Jin. So I would love to hear from you. Who are you most excited about? How did you feel about Guillaume leaving? And who's your favorite so far? And on that note, I'll end this video. See you in the next one. Bye bye, you guys.